Okay, starting on your knees. Hands in line with shoulders, knees in line with hips. Arch the back and gently draw the belly towards the ground. Lift the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And starting from the sit bones, draw the sit bones together, tuck the tailbone under, roll through the spine, going to full flexion. Slowly when you're ready. Lift the tailbone, separate the sit bones, draw the belly towards the ground. Draw the crown of the head up towards the ceiling, shoulders back and down. And then turn your spine into a skipping rope, around and down. Just explore, play. Imagine that your back is covered in fascia, all different layers. You're going to feel tension in different places. Check in with what the shoulders are feeling like. And then sink the tailbone back onto the heels. Walk the hands forward and draw the shoulder blades back down into the opposite back pockets. Have a little wiggle if you need to make your knees a little bit wider so that the body can come down between the legs. And just check in with how the sides of the shoulders are feeling. When you're ready, we're going to walk our hands to the left. We're going to bring all our attention to the right side of the body, from the right pinky finger down to the tailbone. And we're going to walk them over to the other side and check in with what that side feels like. Noticing where you're feeling the most tension. Is it the back of the shoulder? Is it the lower back? See if you can distribute that sensation of stretch evenly. You're constantly monitoring what it feels like. And then just coming more into a bit more of a half dog. So knees in line with hip bones, walk the elbows a little bit further forward, draw the chest towards the floor. Much stronger shoulder stretch, much stronger upper back stretch. Breathe into the back of the ribs. I just continue to move. I don't ever really stay still when I'm feeling a little bit tight. So when you're ready, come up onto your knees, palms down, grab your hammock. Check back in with the neck if you've done your neck warm up. If not, we're just seeing where you're holding tension, whether it's through the front side of the neck or is it just the traps. And then take an inhale, lift and lengthen the chin, lift the chest. And as you exhale, round, make a round shape with the back. And then inhale, lift the chest. If the neck is still feeling tight, just gliding in and out of those areas where you're feeling the tension. And then rolling the hands forward. Holding onto the hammock is now an unstable surface. If you want to not grip it, circle the hands through and around so you're locking the wrists in and wiggling the hands together so that you're not having to use your fingers to hold onto the hammock. Just gliding forward, exploring what it feels like in both sides of the shoulders. Allowing the chest to draw and the crown of the head towards the ground. And then see if you can stir a giant pot. So you can maybe come up onto the knees, maybe change the grip, maybe go back to palms down, nice wide arms. Start to incorporate the knees into the movement, going into flexion and then drawing the chest towards the ground, stretching out the shoulders, little snake. So as you inhale, you tuck the tailbone under, and as you exhale, draw the chest towards the ground. Check where you are underneath your plumb line. Reach your hands wide on the hammock, grab hold of them, and bring those elbows close to your body. Squeeze your glutes, bring your knees in line with your hips, and just float yourself back. Keep your body long, keep your tummy tight. Draw your pelvic floor up. And as you float back, just think about all the muscles down the front line of the body. Stretch the quads first. Focus on squeezing the glutes, tucking the tailbone under, making the base of camel strong. We do this in yoga. This is great because you can hold onto the hammock. And if you feel ready, As you float back bit by bit, stabilise the lower back, gaze behind you. If the grip feels okay, straighten the arms out. Hang completely off the shoulders and then pull on the hammock, draw the shoulder blades together. Practice that pulling up action with the hands and the grip on the hammock. And then slowly when you come up, make your crown be the last thing to come up, and then soften chin to chest and peel back down through the spine, rounding out through the back. Use the hammock to hold on to, tuck the tailbone under, float the weight forward and back, sink the butt back onto the heels, and just constantly exploring and making space in the body. Reaching super wide on the hammock, grabbing hold of it, tucking the elbows in nice and close, and maybe you can come all the way back, straightening the arms out. If you need a double grip on the hammock, you can do that. And see if it's available for you to come all the way down. I've let my butt come onto my heels. I'm playing with the difference between squeezing my glutes, my butt, and drawing my hips up and stretching out the front of my quads, kind of letting them go and just allowing a manual stretch. And if it's possible, you can wiggle your feet outside of the sit bones. Maybe your knees don't like it. And each time you do quite an extreme movement, see if you can do a counter movement. Yeah, just coming up onto the knees. We're going to go one side of the hammock at a time. We're just going to check in with the hip flexors. So using the hammock to stabilize, bring one foot forward and draw the hips towards the ground, and just sort of go from side to side and just check and see if you have one side that's feeling a little bit tighter than the other. And if your knees need something extra to lean on, you can grab that. And for me, it kind of just feels like it's my left hip I need to stretch first, because that's the tightest. Give your hips a really good wiggle. Bring your legs into what's called a 90-90 position. So my knee on the ground is in line with my hip, that's in line with my shoulder. I'm making a straight line. And I'm going to rotate. So I'm holding the hammock in the opposite hand to the opposite front knee. And this is a challenge for me. So if you can't reach your foot, don't get too stressed out. I'm leaning back on the hammock. I can touch my ankle. Just giving my toe a bit of a stretch there. Coming down. If you can't reach it, you can hang off the hand that you're holding onto. When you come out of it, come out very slowly, just to stop those obliques from going into spasm. Sometimes it's a very strong rotation for the front line of the body. Just come down into a nice deep hip flexor stretch. And just get hold of a good grip of the hammock. If you need to do a double bind, that's okay. We're going to engage. So as you pull up, pull the shoulders down and practice pulling. You're going to squeeze the glute on the back leg and you're going to float the back leg off the ground. So you're going to push that front shin in and you're going to have a little wiggle. And you're going to lower yourself down and then you're going to allow it to go into the front hip. So allow that front knee just to draw out to the side, using the hammock for support, and then just drawing the hips back, pulling the toes back towards you. I call it windscreen wiper foot. So you're just waving with your foot, and that's nerve gliding. And I'm just drawing my hips forward and back, gliding in and out of that quite strong stretch. As I draw my toes towards me, I'm going to draw in through my stomach, make a round shape with my back, and just check in, and that's a nerve glide. So as I soften my chin towards my chest, you're going to stop as soon as you feel that strong hot tension feeling down your posterior chain, anywhere down your back and down your leg. See if you can do the same movement, lifting the chest. And just when you're ready, it's always nice to have a little walk around actually in between these kinds of stretches. Let's come over to the other side. So when you're ready, just bring your other foot forward. Bring yourself into a 90-90 degree angle. Just Just have a little check, the knee is in line with the hip. I'm squeezing my glutes, I'm wiggling my hips, I'm looking for the tight line. I'm tucking my tailbone under as much as I can to see if I can draw my lower back to the wall behind. I've got the hammock in my left hand, I've got my left foot forward, and I'm going to rotate. So I'm going to grab the hammock in my right hand, rotate across my torso, see if I can reach my back foot. I've got short arms, it's really tough for me, this movement. This is one of my drills I do with everyone. If you can find your fingers to your heel, stay supported with the hammock, squeeze the glutes, draw the hips forward, breathe for me. Breathe through the front of that chest. Notice where you're feeling it the strongest in your body. When you come out, pull yourself up very slowly. Head is the last thing to come up. And then draw yourself down, hang off the hammock into a nice deep hip flexor stretch. Same thing again, shift your weight from left to right. Use the hammock for support. You probably might start feeling that your fingers are getting a bit fatigued gripping. We're going to grab the hammock, we're going to pull ourselves up, we're going to tuck our tailbone under, float the back knee up off the ground and try and square the hips up. So we're kind of really engaging and tucking the tailbone under and stretching that front hip. And I'm really hanging on the hammock now, so let's let that left knee draw out to the side and let's take this stretch into a hip stretch, exploring that. I'm gliding forward and back, straightening out that front leg as much as comfy, pull the toes back towards me, round out through my back, drop my chin towards my chest, check what kind of nerve or neural tension I've got, and that could be anywhere along my neck, back, hamstring, back of my leg, foot. That's your sciatic nerve. So me wiggling my foot windscreen wiper is rolling my femoral head in the hip socket, which is wiggling the muscles where the sciatic nerve passes through. Breathe. And then just loosening that grip off. If you need to give your hands a bit of a shake out, do that. Otherwise, hook the hammock to the front of the hips and bring yourself towards the ground. You probably might need to readjust it with your hands. It's very low, the hammock, and it's a good place to practice this drill. So a very strong fascial hip flexor release, psoas, iliacus, all those muscles, even tensor fascia latae and IT band that run down the side of the leg. It's often uncomfortable the first time you do it. It does get easier and easier. Allow yourself just to descend down. Rest the forehead on the back of the hands. Relax the legs. Allow your body to just relax into the hammock. And breathe. If at any time you need to come out, just lift yourself up onto your elbows. Bring yourself out of it if you need to. Otherwise, lift your weight up onto your elbows. Let's engage the back side of the body. Really important exercise. So I'm going to start by engaging my pelvic floor and my stomach. I'm going to squeeze my glutes. I'm going to lift my legs up as high as I can. I might need to drop my upper body down. And then I'm going to try and lift my chest as much as I can. So I'm squeezing my legs, I'm lifting my legs, I'm squeezing my glutes. I'm using all my postural muscles to lift my chest up. I'm trying to find my balance. I'm doing the Mission Impossible. Dun, 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 dun. And if you want to pivot, it's very low to the ground, that's okay. We try that much higher position at the hammock and it's a whole different sensation. So it's nice to play with it at this height. And just wiggling the lower back, often making us use our back muscles because often they're weak and long and our front muscles down the front side of our body are short and tight. Getting to engage those muscles may feel like you need to come back onto your heels. Cool, so we're gonna, if you need to take a break, you can. We're gonna go back into that forward fold. You're gonna readjust your hammock so it's back in that spot again. Sometimes we just need to come out and go back in. I'm going to keep my feet together, spread my knees wide. I'm taking my feet in line with my yoga mat. It's called Frogger in calisthenics. And I'm supported with the hammock, which is great because this exercise is very strong for me without. And I'm gliding my hips forward and back. And then I'm going to try and float my knees up off the ground. The toes are still on the floor because this is really difficult to do. So I am contracting the muscles in my hips in a position they're not normally used to. If it feels easier to lift the feet, do that. And then I'm going to take those legs wide around the outside of the hammock and hook my feet in like a little wheelbarrow and walk my hands forward. If you can look forward, then great, you're getting that nice stretch in the upper back. If it's too strong for you, take your forehead down if the back of your neck feels uncomfortable. Allow your body to float from side to side. Get the stretch through the side of the knees. You can see what it feels like to bring the knees together. It might make the hammock a bit stronger. Maybe it feels better apart. Anytime it starts to feel like it's too painful, just come out. You don't get medals for enduring pain. Although the hammock can be overwhelming the first couple of times you do it. So I'm consciously squeezing my knees together now and just gliding them in and out, which is changing what the hammock is doing into my hips. But it's great because my lower body is supported and I can weight bear a bit better through my hands and shoulders. So collapsing, I'm going to release my feet and just hinge myself back again. Just allow blood flow and some circulation back into the hips that we've just been working on. I'm just noticing the body's feeling like it's got more space. And coming up to standing, we're going to step through the hammock. So we're going to come inside the hammock. So we've got to find the front edges, or at least the edges of the hammock, or get an idea of what they feel like. And then we're going to reach behind us, find the edge of each side of the hammock, and when you do, you're going to start to gather the hammock in your fingers. You're going to keep walking them together, until you can feel tension in the hammock so that you know you are right in the middle of the hammock. And spreading it apart, come to sitting, allowing the feet or the soles of the feet to find themselves together, and gently lengthening the back of the neck and pushing the back of the head against the hammock, getting that nice traction. If you feel claustrophobic, you can always grab the front pillar of the hammer, and I'm again checking in with my neck constantly, just loosening our necks. Too much time spent looking down at phones and on computers these days. This is a nice place to start class and a great place to do the lotus meditation. So to do that, I place the back of my hand on my knee, and as I inhale, I bring my finger to touch my thumb, and as I exhale, I open it like a lotus. And you practice this, working your way through your fingers. It brings your attention to your breathing. It gives you something to regulate. And I usually do this with both of my hands on my knees inside my hammock. I did it like this so that you could see. And I might go through my whole hand a couple of times. And I could rest my forehead on the front pillar if you don't want to be upright, and just really completely relax. And just the breath coming in through the nose, out through the nose, rhythm with the fingers. And walking the hands either side of the front. If you walk them together and give yourself about 4 inches, so you've created what's called that central tension. So you know where the center of the hammock is and you're grabbing it either side. Lift your right leg up, place the side of the foot inside the hammock and with the left one as well. And we're going to keep them quite high, so the feet are kind of up more towards the chest, not down towards our bits, but kind of big and open, like a big hip movement. I'm just going to round out through my back and see what that feels like. But I notice I get quite rounded in the back in this position. So to adjust yourself, grab the back edges of the hammock. Use the feet to push against the front side of the hammock, and you can slide your butt back. And then sit and bring those feet a little bit lower. It's more Baddha Konasana, sleeping feet together we call it in yoga. And then sliding your left leg up, that central tension of the hammock. It's easy to go off the center, so just check where the tension is on that hammock with the foot. and make some circles with the feet. This is Janusasana. We do this on the ground in yoga. So now we're kind of hanging in the air, and now we don't have to do a lot to make that stretch happen. Gravity's doing that stretch for you, so if it's enough for you to just sit there and be there, if the hamstring's really tight, you could push the back of the leg against the hammock a little bit and engage that hamstring. You could loop around the back of the hammock. So you could either think of drawing the chin towards the chest and folding forwards towards that knee, or to make it stronger, you could think of lifting the chest and looking up towards the foot. And we are close to the ground, and it's easy to actually just reach down and give yourself a push if you like the movement in the hammock. And then we're going to slide that leg down. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Sliding that foot up. I want some circles in the foot. I want to give you some ankle love. So see if you can make a beautiful circle with that foot. A couple in one direction, a couple in the other direction, and then point and flex it to the ceiling and down. And notice how that feels as you look towards your knee and make a round shape with your back. That's nerve gliding again. And if you feel that hot burny feeling, that's as far as you want to go, and just come off it. It's okay to visit it, but you don't want to hang out there too long. And if the hamstring's tight, you can push the back of the leg against the hammock just for a couple of breaths and then relax it. I'm doing some bouncing here because my hamstring attachment at the back of my leg is feeling a bit sore. It kind of won't release, so jigging, moving, wiggling, feel free. It's great because you're in a hammock and you're floating. So there's lots more to explore being inside the hammock. And I'm going to take both heels straight up the hammock. And this is Paschimottanasana, forward folding pose that we do in yoga, sitting on the ground. And there's the floor, so I'm just going to give myself a little swing. Just letting gravity and the hammock do the work. And grabbing the edge of the hammock, I'm able to just allow my legs to fall apart and land in the middle of the hammock for a nice adductor stretch. So, pushing the hands back against the hammock, push the back of the head against the hammock. And the more I push those arms back, the stronger the stretch is on the inside of the legs. So nice straight spine. See if you can stick your tailbone out. Again, if you get rounded in the back in this position, grab the back of the hammock. See if you can make your spine straight. Reach your left hand down towards your left foot. Reach your right hand up towards the ceiling. Grab the hammock if you need to. And then see how much side bending you can do. How far over can that top hand come over your right hand? And then when that's got as far as you can go, you're going to peel forward and rotate your chest towards your leg. If you can't reach your foot, it's okay, you can grab the hammock. And I want you to start moving that back hip. I want you to bend your knee inwards and take your foot behind you, so you've gone into internal rotation in the back hip. So I'm bending it and straightening it and bending it and straightening it. And now I'm going to bend the front leg as well. A bit yin-yang, it's a bit pigeon pose in yoga. And it feels nice. Gliding and straightening the legs. You can hook the hammock behind your armpit. It's very strong. Sometimes you need to move it one more time, just down a little bit. You've got those yummy trigger points in your shoulders. Teres major, teres minor, infraspinatus, all those ones back there. They always feel a bit sore, so if you want to think of releasing a trigger point in your shoulder while you're there, you can, while you're stretching your glutes out. Be mindful that the front foot, that the hammock is wrapped around the ankle bone, and that it's like you're wearing ice skates. Don't let the foot flop. Keep the ankle strong, you'll get a much better glute stretch. And then when you're ready, let's straighten those legs up. We'll do the other side. Big inhale, push the back of the hands against the hammock. Right hand reaches towards the right foot, left hand reaches up. See how much side bending is available. You're going to peel the top hand off, and slowly from the top of the spine you rotate down, chest towards knee. If you can reach your foot, great. If not, you can keep that back leg active, like you're trying to make your legs go wider, or you can just relax and let that leg just hang and just focus on the forward fold over the right leg. Soften the stomach. Actively is pulling the crown of the head towards the foot. Bend the back knee inwards into internal rotation. It'll just flop inside the hammock, and gently start to glide that knee in towards your body and away. What range of movement do you have in that hip, in that unusual internal rotation? So there's not many opportunities where we get to move in this way on the ground. And then checking that the hammock is, wrapped around the ankle and the foot is flexed and not just hanging out, like you've got a pair of ice skates on. You can hook your hammock behind your armpit if you did it on the other side, just to make it even. If it feels unbearable, come back inside. Maybe you can use your hands to give yourself a little swing. Maybe you can just soften your chin to chest and allow yourself to just hang and enjoy that feeling of opening up through the hips. Keep the attention towards the breath. And then when you feel balanced on both sides, slowly bring yourself inside the hammock. You can grab the hammock if you need to, straightening out those legs. Bending and bringing the soles of the feet together and just coming into that very private space, into womb.